This is the Board of Selectmen meeting as of today, April 26, 2021, 6:30 p.m. So if they've been live, do I still need to go through the script? Anyone? Well, I'm going to do it anyways. So in accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 38, section 20, relating to the 2020 novel coronavirus outbreak emergency, the April 26, 2021 public meeting of the Board of Selectmen shall be physically closed to the public to avoid group congregation. However, to view this meeting in progress, please go to facebook.com/LakeCAM, and you do not need a Facebook account to view the meeting. This meeting will be recorded and available to be viewed at a later date. As a preliminary matter, this is Leah Fabian, Chairman of the Lakeville Board of Selectmen. Permit me to confirm that all the members, staff, and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. So I'm just going to do the Board of Selectmen folks right now. So that would be Selectman LaCamera.
Here.
Selectman Carboni.
Here.
And Tracy Craig McGee, the executive assistant. Okay. So right at 6:30 on our agenda, which is agenda item number 2, we're going to meet with the town moderator and Lakeville representatives of the Freetown Lakeville Regional School Committee to discuss the possible reappointment of Donald Foster to the Old Colony Regional Vocational Technical High School District Committee. And I believe the moderator is the chair.
I am indeed.
Okay.
Thank you, Leah. So I call this joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen and the School Committee to order. I understand that we are here to reappoint the Lakeville representative to the Old Colony Regional Vocational Technical High School District Committee. So I need a motion to reappoint. Would someone on the committee care to do that?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to reappoint Don Foster to the committee.
Okay. And I need a second.
I'll second. The camera second.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we may move to a vote. All those in favor, please state your name and say aye.
Carboni, aye.
The camera aye.
Fabi and I.
Owen, aye.
Stephen Sylvia, aye.
Great, thank you. So do we have any opposed? It is unanimous. Donald Foster is reappointed as the Lakeville representative. Thank you. I believe we have no other further business. Is that true? Okay, so hearing, because we have no other business, do I hear any objection to adjourn? Hearing no objection, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Okay. So hold on one second here. Next on our agenda is Selectmen's announcements. The first announcement is the special and annual town meetings will take place on May 10th, 2021, beginning at 6:30 p.m. at Apponequet Regional High School. The warrants can be viewed on the town's website homepage, on the town clerk's page, and the Board of Selectmen's page. If you would like a paper copy of the warrant, they are available in the town hall foyer in front of the Board of Health office and will be available at the town meeting. The second announcement we have, the town clerk would like to remind residents that voter registration is, the cutoff for voter registration is April 30th for the special and town meetings. So if you want to attend town meeting and vote, at that town meeting and you are not currently registered but are eligible to do so, you must register by April 30th. The clerk would also like folks to know that dog licenses are due by April 30th also. I
Madam
don't-
Chair?
Yep.
Just for clarification, the voter registration is only for the special town meeting. The annual voter has already occurred. So if someone was not registered for the annual, they could attend the special and vote, but they wouldn't be able to vote in the annual.
Well, thank you for that correction, Tracy. I stand corrected. So I don't know, the counts, I know Selectman LaCamera is always on top of the counts of COVID. I don't know if you have those, Rich. The number I have is 35, but I don't know if you have a more recent number of current COVID cases in Lakeville.
No, I do not.
Okay, so that's the number I have, which is down a little bit. But again, like we've been saying for a year, please continue to practice diligence. More and more folks are getting vaccinated. There's more and more places that have opened up closer to us to go for vaccinations than Gillette. So please, if you want to get the vaccine, please take advantage of those. I know the town different offices have done, have made some postings on the website to try to help folks out, but if you have any, need any help with that, if you're, in the senior affiliated with the Council on Aging, they can help you there with vaccination things, or call the Board of Health. But I do know that there is lots more places now closer to Lakeville for testing and for vaccinations. Do any of the other selectmen have any announcements?
Madam Chairman, I would like to thank the Lakeville Lions Club, as they do twice a year, in cleaning up the islands and putting the mulch down at the intersection of Route 18 and 105.
Thank you to the Lions. They are faithful at doing that, and it always looks nice.
Madam Chair?
Yep.
No, the islands, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't we have donations from Sherry Barron's mother to do some of the upkeep for the islands over the last couple of years?
I don't know anything about that, to be honest with you. Do you, Rich? Tracy?
We
There
do
was
have,
there's some money that were donated. I can't specifically say what it was used for, because I don't know the particulars behind it.
Oh, I do recall something about, Sherry Barron's mom, having donated some money, for the islands. So I just wanted to, kind of check in on that too. I didn't want to let that go without being announced too.
Yep. You know what? I will definitely check into that. Let me write that down. Okay, I'll check into that and let everyone know at our next meeting what I find out. And is that it, Rich?
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay, Lorraine, anything?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. All right. So number 4 on our agenda, it's posted for 6:45. It's not a hearing. I don't know if we can go a little sooner or not, but I suppose we could take something out of order for 5 minutes. We want to jump to number 14, which is discuss and possible vote on appointment of the Americans with Disability Coordinator. So let me just get to that myself. So back in, I believe it was the fall of 2019, It was Selectman John Powderly that was the ADA coordinator. And the Board of Selectmen at the time had changed that to the town administrator. And I honestly am not sure who it is right now. So we've had a couple of folks ask us, so I figured we would just put it on the agenda, especially because we're, Selectman LaCamera has been working on doing the ADA study. So I would like to step down from being the chair and nominate Richard LaCamera to be the Americans with Disability Coordinator.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All right, Rich, are you okay with that before I,
No, that's fine.
okay, all right, all those in favor?
Carboni, aye.
LaCamera, aye.
Fabian, aye. All right, so we took care of that. And then Tracy, you and I can reach out to the couple of people that were asking about that. What time is it now? 6:42. Tracy, do we know, is Kelly joining us, or she doesn't have to join us for number 12, correct?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna go to agenda item number 12. Brian's gone and I'm back to all my paper, although I see you there, Brian. So agenda item number 12, discuss and possible vote to appoint Old Colony Elder Services Board Director. So we have received a letter from Old Colony Elder Services requesting that the board appoint a representative to serve on the Old County Elder Services Board of Directors. Currently, Kelly Howley serves in that capacity. So I don't know if I need to read the letter, but I will. It says, Dear Mr. LaCamera, on June 22nd, 2021, Old Colony Elder Services will hold its annual election of Board of Directors to serve for the next fiscal year. In order to facilitate the voting process, we ask that your nomination be chosen no later than your May Selectmen's meeting. Kelly Howley is the current OCES Board Director from Lakeville. So I will entertain a motion to appoint Kelly Howley, who is the Lakeville Council on Aging Director, to the Old Colony Elder Services representative with an expiration date of June 30th, 2022.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Any conversation on that? Okay, all those in favor?
Carboni, aye.
LaCamera, aye.
Fabian, aye. All right, so we've got Kelly appointed again. That took care of that. What is the time? I have 6:44. So it says 6:45, but until that time, if we can just have everyone weigh in who's here. I know I can't see everyone myself, so from the Finance Committee, can you just let us know who's here, Darren, please?
Sure. Yep. Myself, Darren Beals, Adam Lynch, Brian Day, and Katie DeRocher are all here from the Finance Committee.
Wasn't Katie on the board before?
Yes, I was previously. I moved out of town, but I've moved back.
Ah, okay. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, so. All right, so I do believe it's time for us to get started. So I have attached in my packet, I'm sure everyone has the packets, the warrants for the special and the annual town meeting, which is going to take place on May 10th, 2021. So I don't know how we want to do this, but we can go through each one. And I would like for each one, in case I forget, Darren, Mr. Chair of the Finance Committee, to get the Finance Committee's decision or a recommendation on them. So we can just start with Article 1. Lorraine, do you want to read them again? You did last time.
Sure. Okay, so this is the special town meeting for Monday, May 10th, 2020, for 6:30 p.m. at the Aponequid Regional High School Gymnasium at 100 Holland Road in Lakeville. Article 1, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $6,231.26 from free cash for the following unpaid bills from the prior fiscal year, or take any other action in relation thereto. So it looks here that unpaid bill number 1 for the Department of the Assessors to pay for to the vendor KP Law in the amount of $4,322.86 for the purpose of legal services for appellate tax board case. Unpaid bill number 2 for the Department of the Treasurer Collector's Office for the vendor of KP Law in the amount of $1,517.35 for the purpose of legal services for tax title matters. Unpaid bill number 3 for the Human Resource Department for Tristan Medical Occupational Health in the amount of $60 for the purposes of drug screening for non-Department of Transportation. Unpaid bill number 4 for the Fire Department for the vendor Stryker Sales Corporation in the amount of $331.05 for the purpose of equipment maintenance for the total of $6,231.26.
All right, so this article is being proposed by the Board of Selectmen. Rich, do you have any comment on this before I ask the Finance Committee for their recommendation?
No, we're all set.
Okay, so Mr. Chair, is there a recommendation by the Finance Committee?
So Tracy, as my first time as chairman, do I need to get approval from every member?
Yes, you should, a motion could be that the Finance Committee approves Article 1 of the special town meeting warrant, and then you would call for a roll call vote of all members.
Okay, and I can make that motion?
Sure.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that Article 1 of the special town meeting is approved. We'll take a vote.
Second with discussion. Chairman Fabian, is it okay if I direct a question to Clerk Drain?
Yes.
Just one quick question, Madam Clerk. So since I was on the Board of Selectmen while the warrant was created, is it okay in your opinion that I vote on these articles as a member of finance at this time?
You asking me?
Yes,
Yes.
that's okay. All right, just want to make
Yeah.
sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion? Okay, we'll take a vote. Brian,
Okay, aye.
Katie,
Yes.
Adam,
Lynch, aye.
Darren Beals, aye.
Okay, so Article 1, the Finance Committee makes a recommendation to approve Article 1, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Article 2, I can do this one, it's short. To see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $80,000 from free cash to supplement the appropriations stated below that were previously voted in Article 6 of the June 23rd, 2020 annual town meeting for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020 for various town departments, or take any other action in relation thereto. So line 51, Department Snow and Ice, budget line item is expenses in the amount of $80,000. Purpose, winter 2021 costs. Again, this article is being brought by the Board of Selectmen. So I will turn it over to Chairman Beals.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the Finance Committee recommend approval of Article 2.
Adam Lynch, second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Brian? Oh, you're on mute.
Day, aye.
Katie?
DeRocher's aye.
Adam?
Adam Lynch, aye.
And Beal's aye. Finance Committee recommends approval.
Thank you. Lorraine, do you want to do number 3?
Sure. Article number 3, to see if the town will vote to transfer from unused balances of the capital projects identified below the sum of $105,000 and from overlay surplus, the sum of $100,000 for a total transfer of $205,000 for the capital project stated below and anything incidental or related thereto, including but not limited to the purchase and installation of furniture, equipment, and supplies, or take any other action in relation thereto. So unused capital project balances to close or transfer. So the first department is from general government. The project and the purpose was for GIS mapping software, and this was voted at town meeting, the annual town meeting on June 2016. Article number 26, balance of $2,500. The second department, highway department, for the project and purpose was the garage roof replacement. This was annual town meeting in June 2016. Also Article 26 for $5,240. The next department is technology, and the project and purpose was for licensing. And that was at the special town meeting on June 2019, Article number 3, in the amount of $26,270.02. Next department is animal control. That project purpose was to repave the driveway parking lot. And that was allocated at annual town meeting on June 2019, Article number 5, in the amount of $3,139.98. Next department, the highway. The project and purpose was for a 1-ton truck with sander plow, and plow or plow on the same vehicle. And that was allocated at annual town meeting, June 2020, Article number 4, the balance of $1,014.10. And then the Freetown Lakeville Regional School District, the project and purpose for wireless network infrastructure. And that was for annual town meeting, June 2020, Article number 9, the balance of $66,835.90 for a total of $105,000 to close and transfer from there. And transfer the unused funds to the following FY 2021 capital projects. For line 1, facilities. Item, the old library renovations, including handicapped access, in the amount of $105,000. Yes, I said that right that time. And then the next one is number 2 for facilities, and that's for the fire station rehabilitation in the amount of $100,000 for a grand total of $205,000.
Okay. Chairman Beal,
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that the Finance Committee recommends approval for Article 3.
Adam Lynch, second.
Any discussion? Brian?
Quick question to the Board of Selectmen. Do we anticipate that these amounts will cover both projects in their entirety? Or is there any extra in here just for possible budget overruns? I know we've had some projects in the past where we've had to come back and ask again. For example, the Highway Department building, construction costs have gone up. The Peach Barn building, roof has not been completed yet. So I'm just curious if we think this is going to cover everything we need.
Madam Chairman?
Yep.
As far as the library is concerned, we, as you know, we've been doing some renovations already, over there. The two biggest costs, for the library is the new bathroom, a new handicap bathroom, and a new handicap ramp. And we're anticipating definitely there will be enough funding, to do that project. The second one having to do with the plan, as you know, Brian, was to move the Board of Health and Inspectional Services over to the new library and take that space and use it to do renovations for the fire department. And currently, we've done some of those renovations upstairs in the fire station. And we anticipate that the $100,000 that would be appropriated would be enough money to complete the project.
Is that good, Brian?
Do we know how close we are? I mean, do we anticipate fire to be 80,000, 90,000?
Do I know exactly at this point? No, I don't, because we're still, as you know, Brian, anything that's expensive having to do with renovations of bathrooms, can be expensive. But as far as the other renovations are concerned, in that area, we don't anticipate any major additional costs, associated with that project.
Okay, I'm just hoping we can do this once and push those both to the finish line.
Okay. Any
Yeah, any
other
further?
questions? Yeah, for the selectmen on that one? Okay,
Okay, we'll go to a vote. Brian?
Day aye.
Katie?
DeRocher's aye.
Adam?
Lynch, aye.
And Beal's aye. Finance Committee recommends approval.
Article 4, to see if the town will vote to amend the vote taken pursuant to Article 7 of the June 23rd, 2020 annual town meeting relative to the Park Department Enterprise Fund for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020, to change the funding source by reducing estimated park receipts by $45,000 and replacing it with $45,000 from park retained earnings, or take any other action in relation thereto. Any questions on that one? I can give it to you now, Darren.
Okay. The Finance Committee, I'd like to make a motion that the Finance Committee recommend approval for Article 4.
So moved.
Any discussion? Questions? Okay, go to vote. Brian?
Day aye.
Katie?
DeRocher's aye.
Adam?
Lynch, aye.
And Beal's aye. Finance Committee recommends approval of Article 4.
Okay, so just to close this out, this is the special town meeting, and then the only other thing it says is you are directed to serve this warrant by posting an attested copy hereof 14 days at least before the day appointed for a special town meeting, 7 days at least before the day appointed for the annual town meeting at the following places: Town Office Building, Baldy's Pizzeria, Fat Cousins, the Clark Shores Association Bulletin Board, Apponequet Regional High School, Lakeville Senior Center, and Assawamsett Elementary School. All those have been done. And it's signed. So that's the special town meeting. So now we will move to the annual town meeting warrant. I can, Rich, do you want to do any?
I'll do Article 1.
Okay,
The annual town meeting is on May 7th at 7 PM, just so everybody knows.
May
10th.
10th.
May 10th, excuse me.
Yep.
Article 1 is to see if the town will vote to determine the salaries of all elected officers and raise and appropriate the sum or transfer from available funds sums of money as may be necessary to defray town expenses for fiscal year July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2022 exclusive. Such sets to be allocated in accordance with the budget document to be presented at town meeting and to make appropriations or take any other action thereto. As everybody knows, this is our major budget article, for a town meeting, which is roughly $31 million. And we've spent months, getting this budget together, and everybody, including the finance committee, have copies, of that budget. And then that information will be presented to town meeting as well.
Okay. Chairman Beals,
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the Finance Committee recommends approval of Article 1 for the annual town meeting.
So moved.
Any discussion, questions? I would just like to note to Rich's point that the Finance Committee was very involved in this whole process. So we have reviewed the numbers and met with all of the departments. So, okay, I'll put it to a vote. Brian?
Day, aye.
Katie?
Rogers, aye.
Adam?
Lynch, aye.
And Beals, aye. The Finance Committee recommends approval of Article 1 of the annual town meeting.
okay. I can do number 2, I guess. Article 2, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate and or transfer from available funds such sums of money and may be necessary to operate the park department for the fiscal period July 1st, 2021 to June 30, 2022 inclusive, and to make appropriation or take any other action relative thereto. Just for anyone at home, the park department is an enterprise fund, therefore we do their portion apart from the other part of the budget. So I can give that to you, Darren.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that the Finance Committee recommend approval for Article 2 of the annual town meeting.
So moved.
Any questions or discussion? Okay, go to a vote. Brian?
Day, aye.
Katie?
Rogers, aye.
Adam?
Lynch, aye.
Beals, aye. The Finance Committee recommends Article 2 of the annual town meeting.
And in the same respect, Article 3, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate and or transfer from available funds such sums of money as may be necessary to operate the landfill transfer station for the fiscal period July 1st, 2021 to June 30, 2022 inclusive, and to make appropriation or take any other action relative thereto. Again, the same thing. The transfer station is an enterprise fund, so we do it as a separate item. Chairman Beals,
All right, I'll make a motion that the Finance Committee recommend approval for Article 3 of the annual town meeting.
So move.
Second.
Any discussions or questions? Go to a vote. Brian?
Day, aye.
Katie?
Rogers, aye.
Adam?
Lynch, aye.
And Beals, aye. The Finance Committee recommends Article 3.
all right,
Madam Chair, I'll do number 4.
okay,
To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer available funds, borrow otherwise, provide a sum of money for capital improvements and equipment and all the costs incidental or related thereto, and to authorize the town officials to take any action, such action, and execute all documents as may be necessary to effectuate the purposes of this vote or take any action relative thereto. Line number 1, Selectmen feasibility study, town offices and fire station, $70,000, and funding source is free cash. Number 2, technology information, technology improvements, $50,000, and that's coming from free cash as well. Number 3, facilities, security improvements at town buildings, $40,000, free cash. Number 4, police cruiser replacements, $100,000, free cash. Fire, number 5, fire ambulance, $350,000 for a new ambulance, borrowing Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section section 9, section 7, I don't know what that one, class, whatever, 9. Fire department number 6, record management software, $10,000, free cash. Number 7 is a fire department inflatable boat, $15,000, 50 for free cash. Highway number 8, road improvements, $150,000, free cash. Highway skid steer with equipment, $95,000 with free cash. Number 10, highway Zittrack mower with equipment, $22,000 of free cash. 11, highway bud permit material removal, $25,000 free cash. Number 12, park department haunted house demolition, $50,000 free cash. Number 13, park repairs / paint tennis courts, $28,000 free cash. Number 14, historical commission archaeological survey and preservation plan, $30,000 in free cash. Madam Chairman,
Yep.
basically, the town puts together a 5-year capital plan, and this is the first year of that capital plan, which is a total of $1,035,000. And I don't know if anybody has any specific questions, but this has all been reviewed with all the department heads, the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee. Capital Expenditure Committee has reviewed this and has approved this as well.
Okay, I'd like to add that for a few years, the Capital Expenditure Committee wasn't really meeting regularly at all, but we reconvened the Capital Expenditure Committee, so it's nice knowing that we have those folks weighing in on the capital part of the budget. That committee is made up of 1 selectman, someone from the Finance Committee, and a couple of folks appointed by the moderator, I believe.
That
No.
is correct. They're citizens at large.
Yeah, okay.
And then we have, and then the town administrator.
And the town administrator, yep. So anyway, so that the board, that committee is made up from people of all different, different places in the town to, monitor that capital expenditure 5-year plan. So I will turn that over to Chairman Beals now.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that the Finance Committee recommend approval of Article 4 of the annual town meeting.
So moved.
Any questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a vote. Brian?
Day, aye.
Katie?
DeRozier's abstain.
Adam Lynch?
Lynch, aye.
And Beals, aye. The Finance Committee recommends approval of Article 4.
Okay, so Lorraine, do you want to do Article 5?
Article 5, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate and/or transfer from available funds a sum of money for the purpose of adding to the debt service capital project stabilization fund pursuant to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 5B, or take any action relative thereto. And this is proposed by our Finance Committee.
Okay.
Madam Chairman,
Yep.
I would ask that you ask Todd Hassett, our town accountant, to explain
Yep.
What the purposes of this.
Yep, I was gonna either ask him or Darren. So Todd, you're here, right? I can't see you in my,
Hi, Leah.
hi, there you are.
So the town has maintained this stabilization fund for the purpose of setting up funding for future capital or future debt service requirements to sort of, put us in a position when we have a year where we have a large expense so that we won't have a spike in tax revenues. So we're in a position this year where we had some extra free cash and a modest amount of taxation, that we thought it would be good to set these funds aside to cover future capital needs, and possible debt issuances the town may have. The current balance in this fund is, I think, just over 1.125 million. So this will put us around 1.4 million after the town meeting vote.
Okay, thank you. Darren,
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the Finance Committee recommend approval of Article 5 for the annual town meeting.
So move with discussion. Just a quick question, perhaps this is simply how they have to be worded, but is there a reason why the figure Todd just mentioned is not part of the article itself? It would be, sounded like 300 and change or so, Todd, or high 200s?
I'm sorry, the article amount is 250,000, 175 from free cash and 75,000 from taxation. And that is actually in the motion. So we're reading tonight through the warrant.
Okay.
But
It'll be in the motion itself?
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
And it is in the financial documents in your budget book.
All right, as long as it's available for everybody.
Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll go to a vote. Brian,
Say aye.
Katie,
Rogers, aye.
Adam,
Lynch, aye.
and Beal's aye. The Finance Committee recommends approval of Article 5.
okay, so I think we questioned this last time too. Tracy, do we need to read this entire Article 6, or can we just read the,
I would ask the town clerk how she wants you to do it.
okay, let's do that. Madam Clerk,
I don't know. How do you feel about reading all those?
I can read it.
Pages? Okay,
Yeah,
I think you should, hon.
All right, maybe, Lorraine, maybe can it be read by two people?
I think you should take turns.
Okay, so Lorraine, how about I read through section 3 and you can pick up section 4?
Sure.
Okay, so Article 6, to see if the town will vote to amend the town's general bylaws by adding the following new section titled Right to Farm Bylaw, and authorize the town clerk to assign such numbering as is appropriate to bring said bylaw into conformance with the existing codification or take any other action relative thereto. Section 1, legislative purpose and intent. The purpose and intent of this bylaw is to state with emphasis the right to farm accorded to all citizens of the Commonwealth under Article 97 of the Constitution and all state statutes and regulations thereunder, including but not limited to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 3, Paragraph 1, Chapter 90, Section 9, Chapter 111, Section 125A, and Chapter 128, Section 1A. We, the citizens of Lakeville, restate and republish these rights pursuant to the town's authority conferred by Article 89 of the Articles of Amendment of the Massachusetts Constitution, Home Rule Amendment, also known as Home Rule Amendment. This general bylaw encourages the pursuit of agriculture, promotes agriculture-based economic opportunities, and protects farmlands within the town of Lakeville by allowing agricultural uses and related activities to function with minimal conflict with the abutters and town agencies. This bylaw shall apply to all jurisdictional areas within the town. Section 2, definitions. The word farm shall include any parcel or contiguous parcels of land or water bodies used for the primary purpose of commercial agriculture or accessory thereto. The words farming or agriculture or their derivatives shall include but not be limited to the following: farming in all its branches and the cultivation of tillage of the soil, dairying, production, cultivation, growing, and harvesting of any agricultural, aquacultural, floricultural, viticultural, or horticultural commodities, growing and harvesting of forest products upon forest land and any other forestry or lumbering operations, raising of livestock, including horses, keeping of horses as a commercial enterprise, and keeping and raising of poultry, swine, cattle, radites, such as emus, ostriches, and rheas, and camelids, such as llamas and camels, and other domesticated animals for food and other agricultural purposes, including bees and fur-bearing animals. Farming shall encompass activities including, but not limited to, the following: operation and transportation of slow-moving farm equipment over roads within the town, control of pests, including but not limited to insects, weeds, predators, and disease organisms of plants and animals, application of manure, fertilizers, and pesticides, conducting agriculture-related educational and farm-based recreational activities, including agritourism, provided that the activities are related to marketing the agricultural output or services of the farm, processing and packaging of the agricultural output of the farm, and the operation of a farmer's market or farm stand, including signage thereto, maintenance, repair, or storage of seasonal equipment or apparatus owned or leased by the farm owner or manager, used expressly for the purpose of propagation, processing, management, or sale of the agricultural products, and on-farm relocation of earth and the clearing of ground for farming operations. Section 3, Right to Farm Declaration. The right to farm is hereby recognized to exist within the town of Lakeville. The above described agricultural activities may occur on holidays, weekdays, and weekends by night or day, and shall include the attendant incidental noise, odors, dust, and fumes associated with normally accepted agricultural practices. It is hereby determined that whatever impact may be caused to others through the normal practice of agriculture is more than offset by the benefits of farming to the neighborhood, community, and society in general. The benefits and protections of this bylaw are intended to apply exclusively to those commercial, agricultural, and farming operations and activities conducted in accordance with generally accepted agricultural practices. Moreover, nothing in this right to farm bylaw shall be deemed as acquiring any interest in land or as imposing any land use regulation, which is properly the subject of state statute, regulation, or local zoning law.
All right, section 4, disclosure notification. Not later than 21 days after the purchase and sale contract is entered into, or prior to the sale or exchange of real property, if no purchase and sale agreement exists, or prior to the acquisition of a leasehold interest or other possessor interest in real property located in the town of Lakeville, the landowner shall present the buyer or occupant with the disclosure notification, which states the following. It is the policy of the town of Lakeville to conserve, protect, and encourage the maintenance and improvement of agricultural land for the production of food and other agricultural products, and also for its natural and ecological value. This disclosure notification is to inform buyers or occupants that the property they are about to acquire or occupy lies within a town where farming activities occur. Such farming activities may include, but are not limited to, activities that cause noise, dust, and odors. Buyers or occupants are also informed that the location of property within the town may be impacted by commercial agricultural operations, including the ability to access water services for such property under certain circumstances. Purchasing and henceforth occupying land within Lakeville means that one should expect and accept such conditions as a normal and necessary aspect of living in Lakeville. Written notification may occur in one of several ways, including but not limited to a disclosure form, addendum to a purchase and sale agreement, or otherwise it must include an acknowledgement by the buyer or leasee that they have received and understood the notification. A copy of the disclosure notification shall be filed with the Board of Selectmen or its designee within 30 days of the sale, purchase, exchange, or occupancy of such real property. Within 30 days after this bylaw becomes effective, the Board of Selectmen will make a written example of a notification available for use by landowners or their agents and assigns, and shall place a copy of the above disclosure in a prominent place in Town Hall and on the town's website. Within 60 days after this bylaw becomes effective, tax collector shall begin including a copy of the above disclosure and notification requirements with all responses to requests for municipal lien certificates. In addition to the above, a copy of this disclosure notification shall be provided by the town to landowners each fiscal year by mail. A violation of Section 4 shall be subject to a fine of $300 and shall be enforced by the Board of Selectmen or its designee. The town is authorized to enforce Section 4 under the non-criminal disposition provisions of Mass General Law, Chapters 40, Sections 21D. Section 5, Resolution of Disputes. Any person who seeks to complain about the operation of a farm may, notwithstanding pursuing any other available remedy, file a grievance with the Select Board, the Zoning Enforcement Officer, or the Board of Health, depending upon the nature of the grievance. The filing of the grievance does not suspend the time within which to pursue any other available remedies that the aggrieved may have. The Zoning Enforcement Officer or Select Board may forward a copy of the grievance to the Agricultural Commission or its agent, which shall review and facilitate the resolution of the grievance and report its recommendations to the referring town authority within an agreed upon timeframe. The Board of Health, except in cases of imminent danger or public health risk, may forward a copy of the grievance to the Agricultural Commission or its agent, which shall review and facilitate the resolution of the grievance and report its recommendations to the Board of Health within an agreed upon timeframe. Section 6, severability of the clause. Severability clause. If any part of this bylaw is for any reason held to be unconstitutional or invalid, such decision shall not affect the remainder of this bylaw. The town of Lakeville hereby declares the provisions of this bylaw to be severable. And this is proposed by the Agricultural Commission.
Thank you. So like Selectman Carboni just said, this is being proposed by the Agricultural Commission. So, and it will be voted on May 10th as part of the annual town meeting. So if you feel strongly one way or the other, that is, just for the folks at home, that would be the time to come out. And for anyone who doesn't know, at town meeting, if you're a registered voter, you can have the opportunity to speak on something. All you have to do is say your name and where you live, and you can have the opportunity to speak. The moderator handles all that kind of conversation that takes place. But I know I've heard from some people on both sides of this, and this is the way we do things. So if you feel one way or another, I encourage folks to come to the meeting to vote on this. So I will turn this over to the chair of the Finance Committee.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, Madam Chair, the Finance Committee doesn't
Need to,
make a
okay, one way or
recommendation
the
on
other.
that, so
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
One of the things I'd like to say is that I don't know if there's anybody here from the Agricultural Commission, but they have to present this article at town meeting, and I know the town moderator is looking for that person name of who's going to do that. And I know Tracy has reached out to them, but we haven't heard back who's going to present this at town meeting.
Okay. Is that what you were going to say, Lil?
No, well, on section 5,
Yep,
I see a typo. We are not select board. We haven't changed our title yet. So that
Okay.
should say Board of Selectmen,
okay,
along with the zoning enforcement officer or Board of Selectmen on that same section. So I don't know, we need to amend that on the floor, but I see that as, that needs to be corrected.
okay. So Katie, you're still with us, right?
I am here.
Okay, so you still haven't heard from anyone on who?
No one has reached out to me. I have no idea who is going to be making this motion. So if they're watching today, I would appreciate it if they could get in touch. You can always get in touch with Lillian and let her know, the town clerk. Because
Okay.
it's nice, we should know who that is going to be. Also,
Okay.
does the planning board need to weigh in on this or no?
This is
Well,
go ahead.
I see Mark Knox raising his finger.
So the planning board is having a public hearing on all of the 4 bylaw changes on Thursday night this week. So I would recommend that anybody that's in support or opposition come for a healthy debate. Because at that meeting, the planning board will be voting to either support or not support any of the proposed 4 bylaw changes.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yep,
my memory may be failing me, but is it correct that when Agricultural Commission first presented this, or most recently presented this to the Board of Selectmen, that they said that it was already a state statute that applies statewide, and this was more of a vote of support at the town level? So whether this was to pass or not pass, are these protections, maybe this is something we ask AgCom to speak to on the floor when they present it.
yeah, I think at this point, it's really important for us to, for someone to come forward. Well, I can do some reaching out too. But I think we need to definitely make sure someone is there. Well, they have to present it and then they'll be able to speak to it also. But you're right, Brian, I kind of, that I thought that's what was said, but I think so this was first brought to our attention. It was either the end of 2019. And then it was supposed to go on last year's meeting for June 2020, but with COVID, somehow we delayed or they delayed it. So you're right. I'd really like to know what changed between, and if there's been any other changes since. So, and this is coming to us from the Agricultural Commission. This is not an article that, the Board of Selectmen or the Finance Committee or anybody else has put on. So I think we definitely need to work on getting a hold of them.
Madam Chair?
Yep.
I just sent an email to the entire Agricultural Commission asking someone to reach out to the town clerk as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. Okay, so any other questions on that?
I have one question.
Yep.
Was the Board of Selectmen consulted at all in the process of them writing the articles, since some things are going to be assigned to you guys within it?
From the way it was explained to me and, similar to what Brian just said, they were pretty much just using almost like a template from, that's been offered by the state. And because of that, if it passes, then we have to do whatever our part is. But this is definitely not something that came from the Board of Selectmen or, a zoning change from the planning board, let's say, or like a financial matter that came from, it's from the Agricultural Commission. And I do know that there's been a couple of years and they've been trying to do this for a couple of years and it did get sort of derailed last year with COVID, because they brought it to us, whatever, I don't even remember exactly when it was, but it was either late 2019 or like January 2020. So, but anyways, All right, any other questions on this one? Okay, all right. So Article 7, Lil, I guess I have the same question. Do we have to read this in its entirety?
Oh, God.
Madam Chairman, can I answer
was-
that question?
Yes, you
I was gonna say
can,
the same.
please.
No, you do not. And the reason why you do not is because all you really have to do is read the front part of the Article 7. And then after that, all these changes that are going to be done are required by the federal government, and we can't change them anyways.
Okay,
So it's as presented, and I'm sure nobody wants to read 10 to 12 pages
no,
Yeah.
of
no.
stuff. So
And again, this was supposed to, Article 7 has to do with the floodplains, and this is federal work, basically. It was supposed to be on most town meetings last year, but again, because of COVID, they delayed the timing of it. So I'll just go ahead and read it. So Article 7 is on our annual town meeting is to see if the town will vote to amend the Lakeville zoning bylaw subsection 3.2.3 establishment of districts, the floodplain protection district as set forth below, with additions shown in underlined, highlighted, and deletions shown in a strike through, and amend the Lakeville zoning bylaw section 7.1 floodplain district regulations, including amendments and deletions to subsection 7.1.3, which is definitions as set forth below, with additions again shown in underlined and highlighted, and deletions shown in strike through, and the addition of subsection 7.1.7 administration, including subsection 7.1.7.1 through 7.1.7.11 as set forth below and shown in underline, highlighted, or take any other action relative thereto. So again, you know, this is the floodplains are something that are done on the federal level. This was supposed to have happened last year, but it didn't. It was delayed. So we have to take care of this business this year. And Mark, this is another one that you're having the hearing on, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So through the planning board, because this one says proposed by the planning board, but, right? Okay. All right. So, yeah, nothing else to do on that. Sorry, I'm just going through all this. So let's move to Article 8. Do you want to read these, Mark, considering they're from the planning board, or do you want us to continue reading for you?
It's up to you guys. I'm happy to comment on anything. We haven't taken a vote. We were gonna wait until this meeting, but I could speak to anything you'd like about them, but you guys are welcome to read them because I'll have to read them on Thursday.
Okay. Lorraine, do you want to do Article 8? Again, this one's kind of long. Oh, no, it's not. Okay,
No.
Not
sorry.
too long.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so Article 8, to see if the town will vote to amend the Lakeville zoning bylaw, section 6.7.2, procedure for business or industrial, as shown below with additions shown in underlined or highlighted and deletion shown in strike through, or take any other action relative thereto. So 6.7.2, procedure, business or industrial strike through. Applicants for building permit for new construction or for modification or addition to a business or industrial structure resulting in floor area of over 1,500 square feet in the aggregate shall submit 6 copies of a site plan as described herein to the town clerk for planning board approval. Failure of the planning board to act within 21 days of receipt of site plan shall be deemed lack of opposition thereto. All strike through. replaced with 6.7.2 procedure, business or industrial. Site plan review applies to the following. A, new construction of a business or industrial structure. B, an addition to an existing business or industrial structure resulting in a floor area of over 1,500 square feet in the aggregate, or a disturbance in lot coverage of over 1,500 square feet. C, a change in occupancy of an existing business or industrial structure which increases the previously approved occupant load by 10% and or D, a change in use of existing structure to a business or industrial use. Applicants for a building permit subject to section 6.7.2 shall submit 6 copies of a site plan as described herein to the town clerk for planning board approval. Failure of the planning board to act within 21 days of receipt of a site plan shall be deemed lack of opposition thereto.
Okay, so again, this one is being submitted by the planning board, so
Leah, would you like me to give you a brief synopsis?
yes, that would be great.
Okay, so this was an effort to work with the building commissioner, just because with the old bylaw, the way that it read, it was unclear as to what triggered site plan review. And also with the old bylaw, we felt that site plan review was triggered at unnecessary times. So we worked with the intent we tried to achieve with town council to come up with what's there to clarify and streamline what actually would trigger a site plan review.
Okay,
So it was just a housekeeping thing to clean up the bylaw with what we felt was unclear with the old one.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, you're going to be having the hearing this Thursday to discuss these.
All 4, yeah.
All 4, okay. So do we need a recommendation from the finance committee on this one?
No, we do not.
No, okay. All right, good. Keeping me in line. So that brings us to Article 9. So this one, Article 9 is coming to us by a petition. So this is submitted by petition. So Article 9 says, vote to accept Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 139C into Town of Lakeville bylaws. Section 139A, the fee for a license shall, except as otherwise provided, be determined by a city or town, provided, however, that no fee shall be increased without a majority vote of the city or town council or the voters present at a town meeting. B, the license fee for a spayed or neutered dog shall be less than the license fee for an intact dog. Upon application for a license, a city or town clerk shall require a certificate from the veterinarian who spayed or neutered the dog as proof that the dog is spayed or neutered, provided, however, that if the city or town clerk is satisfied that the certificate of the veterinarian who spayed or neutered the dog cannot be obtained, the clerk may instead accept a receipt of a bill from the veterinarian who performed such procedure or a statement signed under the penalties of perjury by a veterinarian registered and practicing in the Commonwealth, describing the dog and stating that the veterinarian has examined the dog, which appears to have been spayed or neutered and incapable of propagation. C, no fee shall be charged for a license issued under this section for a service animal as defined by the Americans with Disabilities Act or regulations promulgated thereunder. No fee shall be charged for a license for a dog owned by a person aged 70 years or over in a city or town that accepts this provision. No license fee or portion thereof shall be refunded because of the subsequent death, loss, spaying, or removal from the Commonwealth or other disposal of the dog nor shall a license fee or portion thereof paid by mistake to be paid or recovered after it has been paid over to a city or town under section 147, again, submitted by petition. So if this is submitted by petition, Lil, do you have any comments on this one?
I do, Madam Chair. I believe this petition is written incorrectly. What we should be accepting is just the sentence on that section 139C that says no fee shall be charged for a license for a dog owned by a person aged 70 years or over in a city or town that has accepted this provision. That's all that should be on that petition. Keep in mind that we are just accepting the that chapter. We're not adding this to our general bylaws. Also, I do have a concern regarding this if it's accepted. Currently, we have, if this is accepted, the loss of revenue on this would be close to $8,120 in the next 5 years, because keep in mind that every year we'll be having residents turning 70 plus. So just this year alone, we have close to 1,500 residents that are 70 plus years old. Out of those 1,500 residents, we have 368 dog owners. So that's close to 4,804 loss of fees that would be losing just this year alone. So all those people will be turning 70. So if we go into the year 2022, that's another 142 people, 2023, 172 people, 2024, another 170 people, 2025, another 179 people. So as you can see, the fees on the lost revenues just keeps adding on top of my past due fees that I'm trying to collect. Just in 2017, I'm still behind $900. 2018, now keep in mind, all these people are heading to court. 2018, $2,100. 2019, $1,600. 2020, $11,000. These are people who have not licensed their dogs. They've licensed them before. They've been summoned to court now. And on top of that, we have rabies certificates that we get from the vets that these dogs are not even licensed. So those are from 2009 to present. That's $3,200 that I'm still chasing, that these people have been summoned to court. So roughly outstanding just on that is $19,000. So I get it, it's $10. We're giving them an option to pay this fee, this license fee from January 1st to April 30th, which some other towns, they give a licensing period up to January 30th or March 31st. We have currently licensed, as of today, we're up to tag number 2127. That's 2,100 dogs out there being licensed. So far I've taken in revenue, $21,000 as of today. So there's an expense to this. Just for this year alone, it cost me $522 to print out the forms to send out to 4,600 households. Cost me $1,700 just to print out the tags. Just to send out the dog licenses up to date cost me $741 in postage. So $2,900 I have spent in dog licensing. So that is my opinion. I feel that as a small town and the loss of this revenue coming from my department, to me, it's huge. I can see if people were responsible and they were licenses their dogs, maybe, but they're not. And this is every single year. So I'm just a little bit frustrated.
Okay.
It's not that these people don't know that they owe a dog license. A reminder has been sent out with their census. The dog officer has to go out there and do a notice. A letter has been sent out to them. I mean, the licensing period has not changed. It's the same year in, year out. So that's my honest opinion. I mean,
Okay.
in the 21 years that I've been in the town and 16 of those years in the town clerk's office, it's very frustrating every single year trying to collect monies.
Right, and some of the fees that we charge aren't fees that we determine here. They're fees that are determined at the state level. So I guess it's concerning to me that, you know, the way the petition is submitted and, you know, like you said, the only thing we really need is no fee shall be charged for a license for a dog
Correct.
owned by a person age, you know, if that's the change. So I just don't want this to get hung up at, you know, town meeting. I don't know
Correct.
what we need. I don't know if we need the folks that, you know, submitted the petition to come forward to discuss it with you the way it's presented. But
Madam Chairman,
I don't
Yep.
know.
we can't do that. This is a
Okay.
petition article. We can't.
so we
cut
can't
it
change it
forwards.
anyways.
We can't change it. It's up to them to change it. We can't do that.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. All right. So anyways,
Madam Chair,
yep,
I just would, if they are listening, that would have to be an amendment made at the town meeting.
okay. And then, you know, again, anyone who has comments and if they feel one way or the other about this town meeting, May 10th, is, you know, that will be that opportunity. The moderator will give you the opportunity to speak for or against it. And then we'll, you know, and then it will get voted on. So, you know, I just, my concern too is that I don't want people to stop licensing their dogs because they, you know, maybe don't understand exactly. But anyways, if it's been submitted by petition, then it needed enough signatures. So, you know, hopefully there'll be people at town meeting to talk about it.
Madam Chair, do we know who is going to be making this motion at the town meeting?
I would guess it would be, Lil, do you know who dropped it off, the petition?
I believe the petitioner is a Roger Pinot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yep.
I've reached out to both the petitioners, asking them to contact the town clerk as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so anyone else questions on Article 9? That is Article 9.
One question, Madam Chair.
Yep.
I'm trying to read quickly the state rules on this. It appears, but I would accept any correction here, that the town is able to set the fees on these at town meeting. I mean, would one amendment, you know, whether it's the petitioner or somebody at town meeting, would one amendment possibly be that we adjust the fees to account for the possible loss of the figures that the clerk has outlined here?
I mean, if someone's going to make an amendment to it, again, an amendment, all it requires is a second from someone else. And then conversation through the, you know, will take place according to the moderator's rules.
I mean, or perhaps to the moderator, I mean, can an amendment be one where the petition has been essentially acceptance of a state statute? Can other things like that be mixed in? You know, acceptance of that provision and adjusting a license?
All amendments would have to be made in writing at the time of the town meeting, and we would have to vote on the amendments first before we would vote on the rest of the article.
Agreed procedurally. I think my question is whether or not that would be the type of amendment allowed, should somebody consider it.
To insert a fee?
To adjust, to adjust the fees that the town currently charges, yeah.
I
That's
think
Because
that's,
there is no fee stated, there's no amount stated in this, I think it would be ill-advised to actually insert an amount.
And do we have any other tools to help the clerk recover these fees? I mean, if you don't pay a parking ticket, you can't renew your license. I mean, is there anything else we can, on the finance side, how can we help her out and get this money?
I would not think that that's something that we would be deciding right now. In
Yeah, I was,
particular form, that's another conversation.
That's fine. That's just point of discussion, really.
Madam Chair, I think we need to relook at our bylaws and start fixing our dog section. Because right now we only have nuisance, and I think we need to restructure our dog fees. Maybe at our next town meeting or fall meeting coming up.
Yep.
But it's something in the near future that we have to outline.
yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Lil, that, there is a few sections in throughout the bylaws that, I'm much more familiar with the general bylaws than the zoning bylaws that, the zoning isn't my forte. So I'm very happy that folks
Yeah.
like Mark Knox are on the planning board, and, we have other folks like Nate Darling in town for those things, but the general bylaws, and I do think that's one area that they are weak. But
Yes,
I guess this just kind of has to go the way that it's been submitted by
is.
petition, because if we can't really alter it because that was a petition,
Correct.
so. Okay, so moving on. So that will be at town meeting, the way it's presented. So Article 10, which is the next article, and I believe the last one, is also submitted by petition. Article 10 says, will the town of Lakeville consider removing the Development Opportunities District bylaw from the town of Lakeville zoning bylaws? Section 7.9.1-7.9.6 adopted June 4th, 2012 at annual town meeting, approved by Attorney General July 18th, 2012, with the excerpts here. Do we need to read this in its entirety, Lil, do you think? Rich, what do you think?
I don't think so, because they're asking to remove section 7.9.1 then to 6, and all this is that's listing what
Yeah,
it
what it
says in the
is.
bylaw. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah. So, again, if the Development Opportunities District is important to you and, you feel one way or another, Mark, you're not having a hearing on that too, are you? Is that
Yes,
one?
we are.
Yeah, so that is also part of the hearing on Thursday night. I don't know if you have any comments on that or what people can expect at the hearing on Thursday night if they want to participate.
So we did request a formal opinion from council on this one. At an informal meeting with the zoning enforcement officer and town council, it appears that it could create an issue with the currently approved hospital property. So I don't want to speak to it too much tonight until we get an official opinion, but I would promote anybody to come to Thursday's planning board meeting if they're passionate one way or another, just to hear what that opinion is and how the planning board votes to either recommend or not that bylaw change.
Okay. Okay.
Madam Chair, we don't know about who this person is either. Going to be making the motion.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure Lil must have a petition.
I do, Madam Chair. Susan Spiller
Thank
is
you.
the petitioner.
Okay. So again, that is, that's our government at work. You can get something on at town meeting if you do a petition. So I encourage folks to participate, to get along, and to just participate at town meeting. But again, just to reiterate, town meeting, and the special town meeting is May 10th at the high school. Does anyone else have any comments on the annual town meeting articles?
Madam Chair, this is Rodney Dixon, the Chair
Yep.
of the Master Plan Implementation Committee. May I speak for a brief moment?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for the time and the opportunity to speak. Article 10 was brought to the Master Plan Implementation Committee's attention quite a while ago. I want to be crystal clear. There's been robust discussion with our committee. The position of our committee is this, that we simply need to know Article 10's relation to the master plan. If it passes and it is, the DOD is removed, how is that removal going to relate to the master plan? Conversely, if it's kept with no change, how is it going to? But we as a committee discussed it. We have no recommendation one way or the other. Our goal is to implement the master plan. We simply need to know how this Article 10 will relate to the plan. Do you or any of the board have any questions for me related to Article 10 as it relates to the master plan?
I don't. Does anyone have a question for Mr. Dixon, master plan chair?
I don't. It's like any zoning article, whatever happens to a zoning article is then would be addressed, but right now, no.
Okay. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being here though, Rodney.
You're very welcome. Happy to do it.
Okay. All right. So that ends the review of the annual and special town meetings. I know we still have the finance committee with us, and we're supposed to be doing a reviewing the financials with the town accountant. But in the background, we have the fire department has some fire things going on, some emergencies going on. And I do believe if we can jump to number 13 so that they can get back to business, if we can do number 13 because they've had fires going on and they're kind of busy. So if we can just, Chief, you're here, right? Chief O'Brien?
I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, and is Pam here too?
Yep, she's here too.
Okay, so I'd like to skip, I know I have everyone else on hold, but they've been dealing with brush fires and everything. So if we can just jump to number 13 right now, that would be great. You want to give us an update?
Well, we have the impending retirement of Deputy Chief Will Purcell. Will Purcell has been a huge asset to the fire department for many years, and he was a huge asset to me upon my appointment. And he has some pretty big shoes to fill. And the selection process that we just went through produced the best candidate that I could hope for and I could wish for. She's a professional. She's very intelligent, and regardless of whatever rank she's wearing on her uniform, she's a leader. And so it's just appropriate. And if she's going to be leading this department, in an unofficial capacity, it's definitely a good choice by me and a good choice by the selectmen to make her an official leader in this department. There isn't a better choice. So Pam, did you want to make any comments?
I just want to say thank you, Chief. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and I won't let you down.
I have faith in you, that's for sure.
I'm just going to read your quick letter that you wrote to the Board of Selectmen. This document has been written to request the consideration of the Lakeville Board of Selectmen of the recent promotional process for the position of Deputy Fire Chief. On April 13th, 2021, the fire chief convened a recommendation panel to perform a records review and the interview of a candidate for the position of deputy chief. This panel included fire chiefs from Medway, Raynham, and Swansea fire departments. The panel also included Human Resource Director Clorinda Dunphy. The candidate was rated on responses to a series of questions and overall performance. The unanimous recommendation of the panel was the promotion of the candidate to the position of deputy fire chief for the Lakeville Fire Department. It is with great enthusiasm and pride that I hereby endorse and submit candidate Lieutenant Pamela Garant to the Lakeville Board of Selectmen for appointment to the position of Deputy Fire Chief effective June 1st, 2021. Lieutenant Garant possesses a rare balance of education, experience, strong work ethic, character, and leadership qualities. This fire chief has been blessed with an exceptional deputy these past 2 years. I am excited to begin this new chapter with a deputy who will surely serve the mission beyond expectations. So I will entertain a motion for the Board of Selectmen to appoint Lieutenant Pamela Garant as Deputy Fire Chief effective June 1st, 2021.
So moved.
Okay, can one of you second?
I don't know who said so moved first, so you decide.
I'll second. I'll
Okay,
second.
Rich made the motion, Lorraine seconded. Any discussion?
I just like to say that, you know, I've got to know Pam pretty well over the last year having to do with the COVID-19, you know, situation. And between her, the chief, and the other fire department, they've done just an amazing job. And we're very lucky to have a person like Pam, you know, with her professionalism, leadership, and her skills, which is very, very important. And I want to commend her for that. And she's definitely going to be a tremendous asset, you know, as the deputy chief. And also, you know, I'd like to thank Will, you know, Purcell, who's been the deputy chief, I don't know how many years, but whatever. He's done an amazing job as well. So thank you.
Okay, Lorraine?
I think it's an excellent choice. I've had the privilege of working with Pam for quite a few years now, and I think that this is a perfect step for her in the fire department and the town.
Okay. I too, Pam, agree with my board members that I think you are a, you know, fantastic leader. And just a great overall, all-around person. I do know the chief and the current deputy speak very highly of you. I'd also like to, you know, commend the chief for, you know, putting together a great, you know, way by which the interviews were done. I know our chief has been, you know, really instrumental in working on our relationship with other towns and mutual aid. And I know that Lieutenant Garant, soon to be deputy, has also been along for that part of the mission. I think everyone recognizes in small towns, just like the other day, we rely on our mutual aid partners and they rely on us. And I know that with the two of you at the helm, and, you know, Will Purcell too, for the last couple of years as deputy, that's really important. And I know you'll continue, Chief, doing the great things that you've been doing. And I couldn't be happier to have, you know, Pam as the deputy. So that being said, all in favor of Lieutenant Garant becoming the deputy?
Carboni, aye.
LaCamera, aye.
Fabian, aye. Okay. And thanks. Go finish that brush fire.
I'd like to thank the selectmen. This was, I'm very happy. She's going to be such an asset to the town, and she will make my life easier for sure. So I'm happy man right now.
Okay, Pam, you know, under non-COVID circumstances, this is where you'd have your family and friends here and everyone would be shaking hands, and it seems kind of, you know, a letdown. So I'm hoping that all our promotions can be celebrated someday, especially yours, because you're top shelf.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. So thank you for that, everyone. There was, you know, a couple of brush fires going on and I just want to get them in and out. Okay, so agenda item number 5. Discuss the reserve fund transfer with the Finance Committee and Finance Committee to vote to approve. Darren, do you want to discuss this? Rich?
Madam Chairman, can we have Todd Hassett, the
Yep,
town accountant,
Todd.
explain this transfer, please?
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we have a request before the Finance Committee asking for a transfer from their reserve fund in the amount of $22,500. The purpose of which is to allow us to fund services of an interim treasurer collector through the balance of the fiscal year. When we asked town meeting in the fall to set transfer funds for this purpose, we anticipated having an appointed salaried person on board by now. But based on the timing with a new town administrator coming in, the option was to retain the interim through the end of August. And as you know, the budget for next year includes a salary for a appointed treasurer to start around September 1st. So you have 150,000 in your reserve fund. Nothing has been transferred to date. And again, the purpose would be for these interim services, which by the way, have worked out really well for the community this year.
Todd, you said 23,000, correct?
22.5.
22.5, okay.
Okay, so Chairman Beals, I guess we need a vote from the Finance Committee.
Sure, I'll make a motion to transfer $22,500 from the reserve fund to the interim treasurer collector services.
Second.
Any questions or discussion?
I would just like to say exactly what Todd said there. I've been very pleased with the results that have been coming out of the interim collector's office. I'm excited. And Todd, I'm assuming we've secured the same person and services for this time period?
Yes.
Excellent. That's great news. I'm happy to hear that.
Great. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to a vote. Brian?
Day, aye.
Katie?
Rogers, aye.
Adam?
Lynch, aye.
And Beals, aye.
Okay. All right.
Thank
So,
you.
uh-oh, what was that?
Well, I was just going to say, Darren, you should have the form. We would just need your signature on it, and you can email it to me or get it to Town Hall when you can.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. So, and Todd, as long as we have you here, we're gonna go right into number 6 on the agenda, which is a quarterly financial FY21 third quarter financial review with the town accountant.
Okay, I'm going to, given the amount of things you have on the agenda, I'm going to do an abbreviated version tonight. And certainly if
Okay.
anyone wants to do more detail, I'm happy to do that maybe at another time. But you should have a 3-page document that I'll speak to, which page 1 of which is the results of operation through the third quarter for the general fund, which is the town's chief operating fund, followed by our 2 small enterprise funds, the park enterprise, page 2, and the solid waste transfer station enterprise, page 3. Very quickly, with respect to the general fund, the revenues have been tracking very well. We did go over the second quarter in much more detail back in January, but investment earnings are off due to the lowering of interest rates. But in virtually every other category, we're tracking well at this point. We anticipate, meeting or beating budget for local receipts. All of our revenues are tracking well, and we have no concerns on the revenue side of the house. On the expense side with the general fund, we do have a few areas that need attention. You've voted, the Finance Committee, to recommend to town meeting to take care of a couple of the more major concerns we have, one of which is the snow deficit of $80,000. So that will be taken care of at the special town meeting in 2 weeks. We do have in the general government area some concerns that we're tracking that may involve a future transfer request, specifically to do with legal services for a few cases the board has been dealing with, and also for legal services that the Cable Advisory Committee has been working through. Other than that, the general fund is tracking pretty well. In terms of public safety, the fire salaries, overtime in particular, callback overtime is very tight, and we're watching that quite closely, as well as there may be a need for a transfer for the part-time inspectors in the inspectional services office. As you know, there are a number of part-time inspectors. It looks like their activity has increased. Fortunately, the related permit revenue is increased as well. So that will more than cover any shortfall we might need to cover in terms of the salary side for the part-timers. Other than that, most of the rest of the general fund, it looks like we're going to get through the year. We might have a couple of very small departmental transfers we need to address before year end. The park department, the park enterprise is really, as we discussed back in January, this is really the major concern we have from a financial standpoint this year. And it's due to the pandemic and the fact that they haven't been able to generate the revenue they've typically enjoyed. They haven't been able to host a lot of the events at the camp. And as a result, we've had to supplement their budget back at the fall town meeting. And at the special town meeting, we're asking to have their retained earnings used in lieu of anticipated revenue to help them get through the balance of this year. There are, when you look at the statement, it shows about a $9,000 shortfall. So again, we're asking town meeting to appropriate $45,000 to cover this plus the remaining quarter of the year expense. And I believe they're looking to possibly open up the beach before July 1st, although that's still under conversation. But again, that vote at special town meeting should get us through the year. And we're very hopeful for the upcoming year that things will improve. Annual town meeting is being asked to fund a lower park budget, but certainly once we have a better sense, we may come back in the fall and look to modify that for the park. Lastly, the solid waste enterprise, the transfer station operation is tracking very well. As you'll see, their revenues have done really well. We're nearly at 95% of budget. I would just caution you, looking at the expense side, that it looks really favorable, but the invoicing for the haulers and the disposal costs tend to be 30 to 45 days delayed. So this does not reflect 9 months of expense. It's more like 7 months of expense. But again, we have no concerns about staying under budget and meeting our legal obligations as voted by town meeting. So with that, I know that was really quick, but again, we're tracking fairly well in just about every area except for the park. And I'd entertain questions, or we can do that another time.
No, I think that's a great overview. It sounds like we're in good shape overall, so that's good to hear. Thank you for the update. Does anyone else from the Finance Committee have any questions for Todd? All right, thanks, Todd.
Okay, Lorraine, any questions for Todd? And then I'll give Rich the final say there.
No, I have no questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Todd. It was a nice synopsis.
I'm all set, Madam Chairman.
Okay, so I appreciate that breakdown, to Todd. I guess that's it. So, or is the finance committee gonna stay with us, or?
I can make a motion to adjourn. We can have a motion to adjourn unless the finance committee wants to stay.
No, I mean, doesn't bother to me, doesn't matter to me if you want to stay or
I'll-
whatever.
If there's no objections to adjourning, we'll do that, and then whoever wants to stay can stay.
Okay,
Okay. Are there any objections to adjourning the finance committee? Okay. We'll vote. Brian,
Aye. Say aye.
Adam,
Lynch, I.
Beals, aye. Okay, thank you.
thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Have a great night. Good seeing you.
Okay, so next on our agenda is number 7. We have some earth removal permits. So we have to review and vote to renew earth removal permits for TL Edwards, which is 435 Bedford Street, and Glenn Pistolini, which is 1 Elliott Way. And then we also have a stockpile permit for Alan Butler, 1 Susan Lane. So the board has received 3 applications for the renewal of 2 earth removal permits and 1 stockpile permit. The applications received for earth removal are TL Edwards, location 435 Bedford Street, amount requested 3,000 cubic yards, amount of removal from 2020 is 3,175 cubic yards. Glenn Kistolini, 1 Elliott Way, amount requested 3,500 cubic yards, amount of removal from 2020 was 0 cubic yards. So let's do the 2 earth removal permits first. So I make a motion. I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2 earth removal permits. 1 for TL Edwards, 435 Bedford Street, and 1 for Glenn Kistolini, 1 Elliott Way.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, conversation on that, any discussion?
Mm-mm.
Okay, all those in favor?
Carboni, aye.
LaCamera, aye.
Fabian, I. And then the other one, we have the stockpile permit is for Alan Butler, for Loom, is that what it is? At 1 Susan Lane. So that's 1 Susan Lane, requesting a permit for 1 pile this year, which is a reduction from the 2 piles they requested last year. I'll entertain a motion that we approve the stockpile permit for Alan Butler, 1 Susan Lane.
So moved.
Second,
Any conversation? All those in favor?
Aye. Look, Carboni, aye.
LaCamera, aye.
Fabian, aye. Okay, so that is all done. So next on the agenda, we have discuss and possible vote on the request from the town clerk to renew the following licenses. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 licenses here. Anthony and Dorita Morris, 33 Myrick Street, auctioneer license, junk dealer license, and junk collector license. Hugh and Judy Rogers, 201 County Street, junk dealer license and junk collector license. Robin Marks and Donald Bernier Jr., 61 Rhode Island Road, junk dealer license, junk collector license. Christine Ann Goyette, 330 Bedford Street, junk dealer license and junk collector license. So I'd like to take Hugh and Judy Rogers and Christine and Goyette separately, if we can do that.
I make a motion to approve junk collector licenses for Hugh and Judy Rogers and Christine and Colette.
Okay,
I'll second for discussion.
okay. So we have a first and we have the motion and we have a second, and let's have a discussion.
Okay, I see here that we requested an inspection by Nate Darling on each of the properties, and at the time that we received these packets, there were no inspections, and I did receive 2 today, but I did not have the 2 for the 2 that we're making the motion on at this time.
Right,
The other 2 did not require inspections. Wasn't necessary. They're fine. There hasn't been a problem
Why did they not require inspection?
because they don't do stuff outside. They do their stuff inside.
Okay,
So
we
the
might
one-
want to make sure that we state that somewhere. I mean, if we're asking Nate to perform these inspections, then I would expect that we get a letter from Nate indicating that he doesn't require an inspection for those properties.
They weren't necessary. The 2 that we're gonna talk about have serious problems, and that's why, so.
Well, it
Yeah.
says that, because
know.
it does say here that, I mean, I'm not gonna argue that the point here, but it does say that Nate, has performed inspections on the property. But I don't know that just because they're inside doesn't mean that we don't need an inspection.
yeah. Well, what we can do is amend the motion, I guess, just to include a letter from Nate saying that he doesn't have to inspect them, I guess. We could do it that way, or, I mean, we have to get these, they have an expiration date of, I believe it's May 1st, so we kind of
Yeah.
need to get them. Tracy, do you have anything to offer on this?
Well, Madam Chair, historically, when Mr. Darling has gone out to do the inspections, these 2 sites were never flagged for any potential violations. But I did not get a memo from him regarding these 2, only the others.
Okay,
Okay,
so at this
So-
point, for the record, if in order for these licenses to be renewed and an inspection is required by our building inspector, then I would think that we just receive a letter saying that, inspection was completed and, no findings, I recommend approval. So for the essence of timing, I will accept these 2, but going forward for the record, I would expect that we have a letter for all people that we're approving these licenses for.
Madam Chairman, just so you know, the inspections are not required to do these, okay? But since we've had so many complaints about these 2 others that we're talking about, that's why the inspections were done.
okay.
Just for the record.
So, yep,
It's not required.
so what we'll do is, I'll make sure we can approve these, and I'll make sure that, I check with Lillian and, if to see if there's a rule or not, whatever, or to have Nate just sign off that it wasn't necessary for him to go out, so.
This definitely needs to be some clarification here, because if there were issues, then maybe those folks should have been held, off the other 2, separate from the other 2.
Okay,
Um,
all
you know,
right. So.
Okay.
All right, so, all right, well, let's just, Lorraine, we can do the definitely noted. And I'll make sure that I talk to Lillian and Nate about it.
Just so you know, Madam Chair, there was no inspections done last year. We insisted to do the inspections on those 2 because there were problems. I insisted that they be done.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay,
Just for
Okay.
clarity here.
All right, yep,
All right,
okay.
but again, if you insisted, that wasn't a board recommendation though, Rich. You insisted?
Oh, well, because we had so many I was the chairman of the board at the time.
Okay,
Okay, all right, and I was asked to have these properties inspected because there was so many complaints about them. So I decided that the inspection should be done. In the meantime, the building inspector was out being quarantined for 14 days with his family. So we're doing the best we can to try to address these issues. And that's why you got this report today, because he didn't have time to do it because he worked over the weekend. So, you know, if you want them all inspected, that's fine, but you need to talk to the town clerk because the town clerk is responsible for them and she should request that they be inspected, okay?
understood. I was asking for clarification and I understand the timing of this. I understand the position of the inspectional services. I'm just saying that there should have been better clarity here.
Well, you know what, we will definitely, you know, I'll ask Lil to just clarify it for us, but I'd really like to, you know, again, there's no complaints on these other ones, so I feel a little bit more comfortable approving these two. So right now we do have a motion and a second to approve Hugh and Judy Rogers, 201 County Street, and Christine Ann Goyette, 330 Bedford Street. So all those in favor of approving, they both have the same license, junk dealer license and junk collector license, with an expiration date. I think we need to add in there May 1st, 2022. So let's just do the vote. We'll start
Carboni,
with-
aye.
Okay,
The camera eye.
Fabian, aye. Now on the other two, because we have gotten complaints on them, there were inspections that were done. And we just got these reports today with pictures and everything else. So, I mean, I'm almost inclined to not want to approve them at all, but then their license expires. So it's the recommendation of the building inspector that we approve them with conditions.
Mhm.
So I guess
And I'm good with that too, Leah.
yeah, yep. So I think we should just proceed and just go according to Nate Darling's, you know, he's the Director of Inspectional Services. So just go with his, you know, recommendation. So I'll entertain a motion that we approve the renewal of the licenses subject to the following conditions. Number one, that within 30 days, items are move items stored in the front yard behind the building and get everything protected from the exposure to weather. And number two, so this is within 60 days, register garage or remove 5 unregistered, ungaraged vehicles. And this one is for 33 Myrick Street. So we're gonna do them individually.
Yeah. And so moved, Leah.
Okay. Rich, do you
So
wanna?
can I ask a question before we
Yep.
do that, please?
Yep.
What's going to happen if they don't do this in 30 days and 60 days?
That I was gonna bring that up under discussion.
Well, we have a
So,
motion on the floor. Don't we think we need to include that in the motion?
No.
well, I mean, you're right. I guess the motion should read that the license is suspended if they don't meet these terms within 30 days and then within 60 days.
Madam Chair?
Yep.
Historically, in the past, when we've had a problem with an annually renewed license and there were conditions, the board would make the conditions and grant a provisional license with an expiration day. In this case, the longest is 60 days. And then consider, after 60 days, consider whether they would fully extend the license until March 31st, 2022.
Okay, well, that sounds like a good idea to me. So we never got a second on that first motion. So does someone want to make that motion, or should I can call for it if that's fine. So specifically speaking about 33 Myrick Street for the auctioneer license, junk dealer and junk collector license, I will entertain a motion that the Board of Selectmen issue a provisional license for 60 days. And that license is subject to the following conditions. Within 30 days, move items stored in the front yard behind the building and get everything protected from the exposure to weather. And within 60 days, register garage or remove 5 unregistered, ungaraged vehicles. And if these conditions aren't met, then the provisional license will expire at the 60-day mark. Does that cover it?
Sounds good.
Okay. Does someone want to give me a so moved on that? So we're basically not letting their license expire, but we're only giving them a 60-day license to get everything done. Okay.
I mean, the bylaw was included with the letters. And I
Yep.
know that, you know, for unregistered vehicles, there's one, and then the other one is for the junk and old metals or secondhand articles. I just don't want to be in violation of our bylaw. But I know that we have violation provisions here with fines.
I'm just trying to give them an opportunity to clean things up.
Right.
So I think within 60 days, they should be able to do that. I mean, my sense right now is not even to renew it. So I'm just trying to give them an opportunity, you know, to not lose the license at all by conditioning it.
Okay.
I don't know. Rich, you can take a stab at making a motion if you want, or Lorraine.
No, that's fine with me. Whatever you said's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm
but
fine
they-
with that.
but-
I so moved it, so I moved.
Oh, I
the
didn't hear
motion.
you. I didn't hear you. So move. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right, so let's, for the sake of clarity, and you know what? Both of these are the same, correct? Both of these issues,
Yes.
they have the same.
No, Madam Chair, there's.
Oh,
some
no,
different-
the other one's a little bit different.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like me to repeat the motion?
Yes, please do. Well, it was my entertaining a motion to,
Okay, to issue a provisional junk dealer, junk collector and auctioneer license for 33 Myrick Streets with the following conditions. Number 1, within 30 days, move items stored in the front yard behind the building and get everything protected from the exposure to weather. And number 2, within 60 days, registered garage or remove 5 unregistered / ungaraged vehicles. The provisional licenses would expire after 60 days if the above conditions are not met.
okay. So that was what my call for a motion.
Yes.
So if someone wants to say so moved, now would be the time. Okay,
All right, so moved.
okay.
Second the motion.
Okay. Any more discussion on this one? I think what's going to be required is that, you know, another inspection be done in 60 days.
30.
And, you know. Okay, so all in favor of this motion for 33 Myrick Street?
Carboni, aye.
LaCamera, aye.
Baby and I. All right, so we will do something similar for 61 Rhode Island Road, which is a junk dealer and junk collector license. So I will entertain a motion that we renew the reference junk dealer and junk collector licenses with the no, I'm sorry, we would issue a provisional license, junk dealer, junk collector license with the following conditions: within 30 days, move items stored in the front yard further to the rear of the property or put up a fence and get everything protected from the exposure to weather. And number 2, within 60 days, register, garage, or remove 5 unregistered, ungaraged vehicles. And if the conditions haven't been met in 60 days, the provisional license will expire.
So moved.
Second,
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Carboni, aye.
the camera eye.
Baby and I. Okay. All right. So I don't know if, I wasn't sure if Frank, I don't know if he's on vacation or not. But this is agenda item number 9, is discuss and possible vote on the extension of the current municipal solid waste contract with ABC Disposal. So the current contract we have with, this is for the transfer station. So the current contract with ABC Disposal expires June 30th, 2021. Frank Moniz, the DPW director, has sent out requests for quote from ABC Disposal, Convanta, Southeastern Mass, and Waste Management. The responses are below. Waste Management is at capacity and not accepting any new tons. Covanta, CMAS, year 1, $90 per ton, year 2, $93.60 per ton, year 3, $97.34 per ton, year 4, $101.23 per ton, and year 5, $105.28 per ton. And it must be delivered by us to the CMAS facility. ABC Disposal, year 1, $90 per ton, and year 2, $92.50 per ton. The DPW director is recommending that the town enter into an agreement with ABC Disposal for 2 years. So, I mean, according to Frank, he didn't feel as though this was like a new contract. He felt as though it was more of a renewal. So he's,
Madam Chair, it's an amendment to the existing contract.
yeah,
Trash waste is exempt from 30B. And so the contracts can be whatever length you want them to be. So there's an amendment that you've received attached, that'll be attached to the existing contract with all the same conditions.
yeah. And for the record, I know that this came up 2 years ago and we did the same exact thing 2 years ago. And one of the problems with CMAS is that our town vehicles need to literally drive the waste up and around all their disposal areas, which really puts the trucks in, you know, a lot, not the best health for the health of the vehicles. So that's one reason why the DPW director kind of wants to stay away from that. You know, he said that, you know, the trucks take a beating that way. So anyways, so according to him, he would like to see us approve the ABC Disposal. So I'll entertain a motion that the Board of Selectmen sign the 2-year contract with ABC Disposal.
An amendment to the contract, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, amendment. Okay, can you make the motion, Rich, please?
Sure, I make a motion to approve the amendment to the ABC disposal contract for year 1 for $90 per ton, and year 2, $92.50 per ton.
I'll second the motion.
All right, any discussion there? Okay, all those in favor?
Carboni, aye.
La camera eye.
Baby and I. All right, next we have discuss and possible vote on the request from Pacoy Brook Golf Club LLC for pledge of collateral alcoholic beverage license 20 Leonard Street. I will be honest and say this is the first time I'm doing one of these. I don't know. I know Tracy gave me some information on this. So Pacoy Brook Golf Club LLC has submitted an application to the board for a pledge of license. Basically, they put up for collateral to their lender. Is that, am I saying that correctly? Tracy?
Yes.
Okay, for a loan,
Yes, they're refinancing their current loan, and they currently have a pledge of license with their previous or current bank. And so that will be dismissed once the refinancing goes through and the loan is paid off.
okay. So I'll entertain a motion.
It would be to approve the pledge of license
Yeah,
for Pacoy Brook Golf Club LLC.
yeah. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the the pledge of license for Pacoy Brook Golf Course located at 20 Leonard Street. That's signed by Brian Conifrey, who is, well, the owner.
So moved.
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, let's talk about it.
No, do we have the Department of Revenue's certificate of good standing? Did we receive that yet?
I have not received that yet. I have asked the applicant to send it. I don't know if they're running slow because they're probably not running in the office. So I did send him an email asking for it. I haven't received it yet. So you could amend the motion to include, you know, once the DOS
Pending.
good standing is sent in.
Rich,
Okay.
would you amend the motion pending receipt of the Department of Revenue certificate of good standing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right, so we have the motion and we have it saying pending the DOR certificate of good standing. All those in favor? All those in favor?
Carboni, aye.
Okay,
Sorry.
LaCAM, aye.
Fabian, aye. But Tracy, can you please, you know, let him know that it's subject to us getting that certificate of good standing? Did I lose her?
No, I'm here.
Okay, all right. Okay, next we have, hold on one second. Review a request for proposals document for information technology, also known as IT managed services, and possible vote to send out for proposals. So this is something that Brian spent a lot of time working on. And we cleaned up a lot of the IT stuff and whatever, but so attached is the final draft of the request for proposals for the information technology managed services for the town. The RFP will be advertised in the Gazette, Combis, and Goods and Services. Does anyone have any questions on the IT proposal here? I mean, the IT.
Just comment, I spoke with Ari briefly. He mentioned that, you know, he had a chance to review this and that he himself worked with town council on this. When did that all happen? Do we know? Was that after Brian?
Oh, well after Brian. That happened a couple of weeks ago. And there was very minor modifications, you know, to that contract. Mark Rich from Copeland and Page, you know, reviewed it, and there was some very minor modifications that were made. I had asked Ari to look at it, you know, just to see what he thought, and he said he was fine with it, and just a couple of minor changes were done. So it's been reflected in the proposal that you have in front of you.
What that town council reviewed?
Mark
This?
Rich. Mark
Yep.
Rich. Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
twice. He reviewed it twice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mark Rich has reviewed it.
So I'll make a
So-
motion that we approve the request for proposal for the information technology management services.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, do we have any other conversation, any other discussion on this? Okay, all those in favor?
Carboni, aye.
The camera, aye.
Fabian, I. Okay.
Chair,
Yes,
regarding that motion, is the board gonna vote to, send out the proposal? That was part of the agenda item.
Okay, I'll amend that motion to say that to send out the proposals as well.
I'll second.
all those in favor? Let's do it again.
Carboni, aye.
The camera, aye.
Fabian, I. Okay, so approve and send out. Sorry, Tracy.
No problem.
Okay, number 15, discuss and possible vote on reappointment of Wilfred Corey as the Veterans Agent and Graves Officer. So,
So
Okay.
moved.
I'll second.
okay. With his term to expire April 30th, 2022. All those in favor?
Carboni, aye.
The camera, aye.
Fabian, I. All right. Discuss and possible vote on appointment of Ronnie Freites as Assistant Animal Control Officer. So he's been hired as an assistant animal control officer for the town of Lakeville. I'll entertain a motion to appoint.
So
Okay, all
moved.
right, term to expire April 30th, 2022. Rain,
Second.
and all those in favor?
Carboni, aye.
The camera, aye.
Baby and I, and discuss possible vote, appoint representative and alternate representative to the Joint Transportation Planning Group. So this is something that typically Frank Moniz is the representative, and I have been his alternate for a couple of years now, and I have never had to fill in. So,
You want to do it again?
sure.
All right, I'll make the motion that we're just voting for our representative. Okay,
Yep.
to vote Franklin Moniz as the, to serve as the representative on the Transportation Planning Group with the alternate position by Chairman Fabian. Appointments made will expire May 31st, 2022.
Okay,
Second that motion. Madam Chairman, I just want to mention that there's a very important meeting coming up on May 4th, having to do with the Route 79. That meeting is going to be hopefully approving that project going forward. So I know Frank is all set to go, but you might want to go as well.
okay, all right.
Okay.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor?
Carboni, aye.
The camera, aye.
Baby and I. All right, now we have the request from PBT Realty LLC for Taunton Water Connection at 24 Bedford Street. I'm assuming 24 is two numbers, not 24. The
Correct.
old A-frame restaurant. So we have an application for a connection to Taunton Water for that property. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the application.
I'd like to amend that motion, please.
Okay,
It can all be used for commercial development only.
okay. So we have a motion and an amendment.
Well, does Lorraine want
Yeah.
to change that motion, or do we want to amend her motion?
No, I just want to see here, because this would be for commercial, right? Because it's under commercial.
No, I understand, but we've had problems in the past where it says commercial, and then, I mean, it didn't say commercial, and it's been used for residential, and we just want to make sure, I just want to make sure that that's covered. so we
All
don't have
right,
a problem.
and confirming that it's commercial use only. I'll second that amendment in motion. So
Okay.
I'll-
Okay, so all those in favor of the motion to allow the water connection for commercial use only?
Carboni, aye.
A camera eye.
Fabian, aye. All right, this takes us to new business. Any new business from anyone?
Yeah, very quickly, the Massachusetts School Building Authority has opened up their grant opportunities for having to do with school projects and renovations to schools. And it has to be submitted by June 1st. And they have what they call an accelerated repair program for windows, roofs, and boilers. And the superintendent is going to wants to submit a grant application for window replacements at Assawamsett schools.
Mhm.
And that has to be submitted no later than June 1st. So we'll be getting this information shortly. And so it'll have to be approved by our May 25th meeting, just so the board knows. This is a good opportunity for us to try to get some grant money to replace those windows. The second thing is that what they call the URSA 2 allocation, which is stimulus money. The school district is receiving $713,000. And when we talked during the budget process, that we felt that some of that money ought to be allocated to Assawamsett to do some improvements there. And so once again, that will have to be approved by the board as soon as the House, Senate, and Governor, approve their budgets, which they're all working on together, that they actually agreed that this money will be available, which is unusual. So that'd be another opportunity, and it needs our approval as well. The last one is the American Recovery Funds, which is the big one that's just been approved. And a lot of that money is used for infrastructure, but one of the things it can be used for is improving air quality in the schools. And one of the things that should be done at Assawamsett is those air handling units in those in the school classrooms should be replaced. So that's another opportunity. I just wanted to bring that to the board's attention.
Okay,
Can I just, I wanted to just interject, and Nate's been dialed in on all of this, right? I know we can assume that, but I just want to put it out there. He's been dialed in?
Not on everything yet, because they haven't brought any proposals forward yet.
Okay, but okay, I mean,
But
if they're gonna be
these
doing,
projects are gonna be managed by the facilities manager at the region, not me.
not
right,
Nate.
but these are, right, but if it's Assawamsett, it's a town-owned building.
But they're still gonna manage it, because Nate can't manage it. He doesn't. have the
Right,
time
I
to
understand that.
manage
I just hope that Nate's dialed in, that's all.
it. We haven't got anything yet. That's why I'm just bringing it to your
Yeah,
attention.
he's just
So,
he's
Okay,
just
that's fine.
alerting us.
Right,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay. Any new business from you, Lorraine?
No, I do not have any tonight.
Okay. I don't have any other new business either. So we will skip to old business. Going back to what we were just talking about, the new business there. Tracy, can you just put a placeholder on that May 25th meeting for a couple of those things so I don't forget, please?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so old business. Let's see. Rich, do you want to talk about the budget or the capital plan, considering you're the budget selectman?
no, we're all set. We're ready to go. Everything's done.
All right, any other old business? Going once? Going twice? Okay. Any other business that needs to come before the board? All right, so with that, I will entertain a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, specifically the police union, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the board, and the chair does so declare, and not to come back to open session.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor, roll call vote, Carboni,
Carboni, aye.
LaCamera,
aye.
and Fabian, aye. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, LakeCAM.